A very good morning to you. Now, the AM News, and let's take the headlines first. And the Magistrate Court, Ajabing Magistrate Court, presided over by Justice Isaac Addo, threatens to discharge a number of persons accused of allegedly beating some staff of Adom FM if the Attorney General's Department fails to submit its recommendations by the next adjourned day, January 28, 2015. And minority in Parliament describes 2015 budget statement as a hopeless one that will not guarantee Ghana's economic transformation. So now let's get into the details of these stories. And the Ajabing Magistrate Court, presided over by the Justice Isaac Addo, has threatened to discharge a number of persons accused of allegedly beating some staff of Adom FM if the Attorney General's Department fails to submit its recommendations by the next adjourned date, January 28, 2015. The court says the delay is unfair to both the complainants and the accused persons and will discontinue the case if the AG office continues to drag its feet. Israel Aye and Rich Joyce Ama, both officers of the Ablekuma Central Branch of the National Health Insurance Authority, stand accused of allegedly assaulting the journalist when they visited the office to find out why subscribers were having challenges accessing their services. Adom FM News editor Fia Pukua, also known as Vim Lady, and two other reporters, Kofi Asan and Nana Sefa, were reportedly assaulted on September 11, 2014, when they attempted to interview scheme subscribers who complained of delays in registration. The commencement of the case has since been hampered by the failure of the AG department to submit its recommendations to the court. Now, speaking before he adjourned the case to 28 January 2015, Justice Addo pointed out that only the AG's office is mandated to prosecute criminal cases, and it will therefore be impossible to proceed without the report. On his part, counsel for the complainant, Samson Ladi Ayinini, said he was not surprised at the delay and urged a little patience because it might be due to the long holidays. He, however, expressed the worry that the delay in the adjudication of the case may encourage other persons to assault journalists and believe they can get away with it. So let's still stick with the court, where a fast-track High Court Tax and Financial Division on Thursday adjourned the case involving Alhaji Alhassan Mohammed Imoro, a former executive director of the National Service Scheme, to February 10. The court adjourned the case after the state, represented by Senior State Attorney Comfort Tasiame, prayed the court for a 4-week adjournment to allow the prosecution to complete its investigations. She said they were still in the process of investigations, explaining that it had been quite a hectic investigation considering the nature of the case. She therefore prayed the court for a month's adjournment since the accused person was on bail. Defense counsel Mr. Denise J. Jomo said they were not opposed to the 4 weeks adjournment and added that they would be grateful if the state would indicate when investigations will be concluded in order to guide them as to what to do next. Alhaji Moro has pleaded not guilty to the charge of stealing 86.9 million Ghana cedis belonging to government of Ghana through the payment of ghost or non-existent service personnel. Let's now do some road issues, where the National Road Safety Commission says by the first quarter of this year, it will spread its road safety lollipop project to the 6 regions that are currently not benefiting from the initiative. The project is a reference sign used by road users, particularly children, to cross the road. Head of Communications at the National Road Safety Commission, Kwame Kodia Ichahine, says there are plans to distribute 50,000 lollipop stands to add up to the 30,000 already in the system.
Globally, more than 270,000 pedestrians lose their lives on roads each year, accounting for 22% of the total 1.24 million road traffic deaths. Every hour, nearly 150 children are treated in emergency department for injuries sustained in motor vehicle crashes across the world. In Ghana, almost 250 children, representing 28% of 880 pedestrian deaths every year, are children below the age of 16, most of whom get knocked down whilst crossing the road. It is against this background that the National Road Safety Commission introduced the Lollipop Road Project in 2013 to reverse the alarming trend. The project is aimed at educating school children to alert oncoming vehicles to stop them to cross roads in order to ensure safety and reduce deaths. The initiative took a national dimension in January 2014, targeting regions with high accident cases involving children.
Once the kids begin to appreciate, kids who live in these communities begin to appreciate the essence of the aid and how to use them. We have told them that when you raise the crossing aid, you need to arrest the attention of the driver with the aid, ensure that the vehicles are still or have stopped. Then you can use the road. You drop the aid at the other end.
Head of Communications for the National Road Safety Commission, Kwame Kodua Ituahene, observed that the Road Safety Lollipop project is doing very well in the Greater Accra, Ashanti, Volta and Eastern regions, but says plans are in place to replicate the campaign in the remaining regions this year. 50,000 lollipop stands are being procured to add up to the 30,000 already in the system.
Again, we are constrained strategically by resources, so we needed to look at the data again very carefully to be able to prioritize on which regions were having most of those concerns. So based on the data available and the need to prioritize because of the constraints, we wanted to start with the 4 regions. But those other regions that were not, that did not benefit from the scheme last year are due to benefit this year.
He also mentioned that the Commission has been in collaboration with Ghana Education Service to ensure sustainability of the campaign.
I work with GES and the School Health Education Program, the SHEP program. And in many of these schools that have been marked out on the basis of where they are located, the number of incidents that are recorded in and around these schools, that's a conscious program to have a regular visit to these schools. In fact, in most of these schools, you're likely to have road safety clubs.
Road safety is a shared responsibility, and the Commission advises Ghanaians to play their part. Ridwan Karim Dini Osman, Joy News, Accra.
Away from our roads, we're talking elections, where the Electoral Commission has asked the various assembly units that failed to get nominations for the forthcoming district-level elections to submit their nominations by January 17. Head of Communications at the Electoral Commission, Christian Parry, meanwhile, assures enough arrangements have been made to ensure a free and fair process. The District Assembly and Unit Committee election is slated for March 3, 2015.
From now until the 17th, anybody who lives in any of the areas where there were no nominations and is now interested in contesting the election can go and pick a nomination form, fill it and return it to the Deputy Returning Officer Special Duties. And that must be done before 5 o'clock on the 17th of this month.
According to Christian Owusu-Parry, the numerous postponements of the district-level elections were due to financial and administrative constraints. He, however, says adequate measures have now been put in place to ensure it comes off successfully. He highlighted preparations made so far.
As we speak now, yes, we are in the process of printing the notices of poll and the ballot papers. At the same time, we are working on the voters' register that will be used for the elections on 3rd March 2015. And we have a series of training programs line up for our operatives. Various categories of officials are to be trained, and we're expecting that from the 18th of this month, we'll start training the technical personnel, especially on the biometric verification devices.
He says backup plans have also been made for the verification machines to deal with any possible breakdown, adding that a replacement of LI 1983 with CI 85 will ward off a repeat of challenges encountered in the 2010 District Assembly elections.
We have taken measures to ensure that in the event that any machine breaks down, we'll be able to send a replacement as soon as practicable so that the process can continue. Indeed, we are now putting 2 verification machines at every polling station. So instead of the 1 verification machine that we had in 2012, this time we'll have 2 verification machines with some backup in the district. So that should both machines that we have sent to the polling station break down, we also have a backup to replace those ones that break down.
Christian Owusu-Parry urged candidates to go about their campaigns with decorum.
I expect that they will be circumspect in what they say and not go about maligning their competitors. If they will go through their campaigns devoid of any hate speeches and maybe so anything that will tend to downplay the opportunities of their opponents.
The Electoral Commission is, however, entreating candidates and supporters to guard against acts that have the potential of undermining the credibility, turnout, participation and involvement of the average Ghanaian in the exercise, while urging all eligible Ghanaians to turn out to vote on the election day to ensure competent men and women are elected. Ridwan Karim Dini Osman, Joy News, Accra.
Away from the Electoral Commission, on the 2015 budget will not be the savior to the ordinary Ghanaian expects. That is the verdict of the minority in Parliament. At the press briefing on Thursday, they said the budget will rather worsen the plight of the ordinary Ghanaian. They also mocked the members of Pressure Group, the Committee for Joint Action, for their deafening silence, saying their primary aim of fighting for the poor has been defeated by their silence, with them keeping quiet over the current economic hardship.
The nature, character, form and shape of the 2015 budget is anything but transformational. The short-term prospects of the economy are gloomy and therefore do not provide any proper foundation for the future, and hence the medium-term prospects cannot be bright. In that regard, the transformational agenda of the 2015 budget statement and economic policy can only be a failing hope without any basis.
According to the minority leader, Oseche Mensah Bonsu, the budget statement failed to answer basic questions affecting the ordinary Ghanaian. He said it also failed to address the macroeconomic challenges confronting the country.
Does the budget ensure that the national economy and the resources available are well managed? The answer simply is no. Will the budget maximize the rate of economic development? No, because we are plummeting. And now we are being told that it's going to go to 3.9%. Will the budget create jobs for our teeming unemployed, especially unemployed graduates? No. Will the budget reduce the cost of doing business and make the economy investor-friendly? No. Will the 2015 budget reduce the high cost of living and suffering of the ordinary Ghanaian? No.
The minority leader, however, expressed shock at the silence of Pressure Group CJA, especially in the wake of recent protests by a section of the public over the special taxes and fuel price hikes.
They went on demonstrations using the Committee for Joint Action to protest the high price of petroleum prices. One would want to ask, so given the prevailing circumstances, where is CJA? At the time They argued that the taxes on petroleum products should be reduced and promised to reduce petroleum prices drastically when elected. 6 years down the road, many of the CJA demonstrators are now ministers in or apologists and cheerleaders for this NDC government, and they have forgotten all their pledges to the Ghanaian people.
They also called for a complete overhaul of the Narcotics Board to properly position it to fight the drug menace.
In the arrest of Ms. Ruby Nayele Ametepe and the man in charge of aspects of security at Kotoka International Airport, we in the NPP have proffered suggestions. One, that the NACOP must be overhauled. The bill to turn NACOP into a commission, prepared in 2008, must come to Parliament as soon as possible. The position of the executive secretary of NACOP must be taken away from politicians and revert to professional intelligence operatives.
The minority also expects full payment of statutory funds in 2015 by the Minister of Finance and seek Parliament's approval to pay the arrears over a specific period.
Now to some energy issues, and the country's energy situation should see some slight improvement as the local government ministry ventures into the waste-to-energy business. Now the ministry, together with some private waste management companies, are looking to convert the several thousand tons of waste generated daily in the national capital into energy. Now the project currently underway will see the Oblongo transfer station, for instance, generate some 1.5 to 2 megawatts of power for at least 1.5 million homes when fully operated.
The nation's capital has over the years had to deal with the issue of waste management. This has led to recurring of cholera outbreak, which has killed several hundreds of people. Considering the current crisis in the energy sector, the local government ministry is working with some private firms to convert the waste into energy. The Oblongo transfer station, which is currently under construction, is expected to produce 1.5 to 2 megawatts of power when completed. Deputy Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Emmanuel Kojo Ajekum, is hopeful the issue of waste management will be a thing of the past once the Ashalaga landfill site is also completed.
In trying to address the challenge in Accra, we think we need a final disposal site. What we've come to see at the moment is a private initiative. But then, from what we saw earlier, this is something that we're doing in collaboration with the Netherlands Embassy, or the Royal Netherlands Embassy in Ghana. And we are trying to build a very big or a huge engineered landfill site. And that is what we have come to have a look. We believe by so doing we'll be able to take care of the situation in Accra, coming in with our transfer stations and all those things. And we think the situation in Accra will not be the same.
The first secretary of the Netherlands Embassy in Ghana says his outfit will give the needed technical support and possibly give financial assistance to help realize the dream of a waste-free Accra.
We have consultants in the country that are ready to advise government on techniques, on technology, on policies, on how to deal with waste. And in our vision, the way we do it in the Netherlands, waste management is something that can bring money. Waste is money, and that is implemented like that in our country, and we advise the government here to do it on the same line. As you heard the representative from the Rexel company, they turn waste into energy, and energy is money. The country needs energy. The country also needs compost, and part of the waste of Accra can be turned into compost, which can be used by the farmers.
General Manager of JSO Group, the company working on the Oblongo transfer station, speaks about the benefits to be derived from the dual-purpose facility.
This site is an old landfill site. We were taking Accra's waste for almost approximately 5 years here. And after we finished backfilling with the waste, we capped the site. At the moment, we're in the process of doing pump tests, and we've done the pump test. We know the quantity of gas that's inside the waste, and at the moment, we measured it at between 1.5 to 2 megawatts of electricity that could be generated from here through the gas that's actually buried here, from the waste that's been buried here.
And how many homes are we expected to power with this gas that we're going to generate here?
With the do 1.5 to 2 megawatts. That's approximately 1,500 to 2,000 homes we could power here.
Once these projects take off fully, the sanitation situation in the capital is expected to see a major improvement. Latif Idris reporting for Joy News.
And our lawyer of embattled former HIV/AIDS ambassador says his client will not comply with police directive to undertake an HIV test unless ordered by a competent court. Kojo Cranton says the police has no capacity to independently ask Joyce Mensah to go for an HIV test. His comments are in reaction to an attempt by the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service to conduct a test on Ms. Mensah following her confession that she has never tested positive for the virus. Ms. Mensah had been working with the Ghana AIDS Commission for more than 5 years as an ambassador to fight AIDS stigmatization. Head of Public Relations at the CID, ASP Joseph Benefo Dakwa, said his outfit invited the former AIDS ambassador following a complaint by the Ghana AIDS Commission. So that's it for the AM News this morning. The AM show continues.